Hey guys, hello and welcome to another video today. So in today's video, we'll be seeing a bit about AI Builder, right? How can we extract the data using an AI Builder from a set of structured documents? Although I already have created a video on AI Builder where I have talked about the basics of AI Builder. I'll give you the link in the description or I button above. You can check out that video as well. That is very helpful if you want to know about basics of AI Builder. So in today's video, we will be seeing how can we utilize AI Builder to extract information from set of documents, right? I will be creating our custom model. I'll tell you how what is custom model and what is pre-built model, right? So let's quickly get started. So for AI Builder, you need to start your free trial if you are on a trial version, right? So I have started it already, and then in order to create your model, you have to go on AI Hub. If it is not visible here, you can just click more, and the AI Hub will be visible here. So once I click AI Hub here, we have several options: prompts, AI model, document automation, right? So we'll be talking about prompts and document automation in later part of the videos, but today we'll be seeing the AI builder part. So in order to create your own model, I'll just click on AI models. So here we have different options available. So first is to extract customer information from documents, right? Second is extract information from invoices, and then using the OCR and predict the data, right? And if you see in below here, we have the custom model, pre-built model, pre-built model, custom model. So what custom model means is you need to train your AI builder, or you need to train your model on set of invoices, right? Pre-built model is basically it is already trained on some set of documents, and you just need to upload the data, and AI builder will automatically give you the output, right? We can use pre-built model. I will recommend you to just try it on your own how pre-built model works. Today I'll be covering the custom model where we can build our own model and train it, right? So I'll just choose this and I'll just create custom model, right? So meanwhile this is opening, I'll quickly show you the invoices. I'll also give you the link for these invoices. They are readily available on Power Automate site, so I'll give you the link in the description box below. So these are the invoices which I have. If you see, the format is similar. These are structured data, right? So you see the date, the invoice number is same, right? Although it is different, but it is at the same place. You see the customer ID, and you have the subtotal tax and sales tax, and in here also you have the same headings, right? So these are the data. So what we will be extracting in here is the invoice number, the date, the customer ID, and the sales tax and total. You can try it on your own. You can try extracting the table also, right? I'll recommend you to try it on your own. So I'll quickly go to my model. So we have three options here: fixed template, general document, and the invoices. So fixed template is basically this is used to extract information from the structured document. General is used to extract information from the unstructured document, and invoice is basically where we have a standard format, where we have a structured format, and we want to extract the data, right? So I'll be choosing my invoice option. You can also try this with the fixed template document, because currently we are seeing a fixed template document. So I'll just click next. So here you have all the fields already defined by the AI builder, right? If you see, billing address field is already there. If you see customer ID, and in the document also we have the customer ID, if you see here. So some fields are already defined by the Power Automate, right? And if you see, some are gridded out and some are editable field. And why these are editable is because if you see, the date is NDD, sorry, MMD and Y, right? So month, date, and year. Here if I go to invoice date, I can actually change the format. So I'll just click save here, and then let's say you have a field which is not defined by Power Automate. You can actually add your own field. So for now I'll just be adding my text field with the name of invoice number, and I'll click done, right? If you see, now your invoice number is also available, right? So I'll just click next. So once you click next, you have an option for the collections, right? So what is a collection? Basically, let's say you have many invoices. Let's say you have 100 invoices, and then you have two format for the invoice, right? So you can create two collections, and you can place one similar kind of document in one collection and another similar kind of document into another collection, right? So, and you want to extract same information from both the formats, then you can create multiple collection. Here I have only a similar kind of structured data invoices. There is no other format, there is only one format. So I'll just create one collection and add the data into that collection. So like this, I'll just click upload, right? And I'll click done. Once it is done, I'll just click next. So now if you see, your invoices are being uploaded and AI Builder is currently detected the words, right? So it has detected, and if you click on show detected words, you see it has detected all the words. It has also detected the table. I'll just click hide detected words. Now if you see here, there's a red sign. That means you will have to tell what is there and what you have to extract, right? So customer address, we don't need customer address for now, so I'll just right click. You can click remove tag, so it will be removed from the output. You can click not available in the document, that okay, this is not you have chosen, and you can click not available in the collection, so that everywhere this number will be removed. So I'll click not available in the collection, and this also I will be needing a customer ID, so I'll be choosing this. If you see, invoice number is already not tagged because we have created this custom field. So I'll just click on this and I'll just take this. This has been already tagged with the invoice ID. So what I'll do is I'll go and search invoice ID. If you see, I'll just right click and remove this tag, right? And I'll go back. I will click on invoice number and this number, and I'll choose invoice number, right? So this is how you can choose. Even though if this is, this is the green boundary you see, this has been identified by the AI Builder. You can also create your own boundary. If you see there is this plus sign, you can just click and you see, you drag your mouse and it will be detected. So I go down. I don't need a payment term also. I'll just remove this, and I don't need a vendor address, so I'll choose not available in collection. I have the invoice total I need, and subtotal I need, total tax I need, and invoice date is also I'll be needing. And I don't need table. I'll recommend you to try the table at your end, right? So customer ID. Okay, I'll just choose this. Okay, so once you click, you see there is a tick sign. That means this has been done. Now similarly, I'll go to the next document, and for invoice number, okay, this has been already tagged with the invoice ID, so I'll just choose remove tag. In payment terms, I'll choose remove tag, and invoice number, I'll tag this with the invoice number. And if you see, I'll just click not available in collection, and once I do this, it will be marked as tick. Now I'll go to next, and I'll choose this one. See, this has been tagged. Now I'll go to next, and I'll tag this one. See, this is ticked. Now AI Builder is smart enough that it has identified all the fields already. So I'll just click on invoice number. I'll choose this and invoice number. So if you see, all documents are not ticked. Once they are ticked, my next button is also get enabled. I'll go and click next. Okay, now if you see here, you have invoice number in 5, customer name you have in 4. Let's for now let's leave it as it is. And then we have customer ID in 5 documents, and then vendor name in 4. Invoice total we have, subtotal, total tax, invoice date. So all the things we have, although we do not require vendor name, but I think in some documents we have that tagged, and customer name we have that tagged. Okay, so once we have this, I'll just click on train. So I have clicked on train, and you see your model is training. This may take few minutes depending on the size of your train data. You can close this window and come back later. So basically, currently our model is training the documents, right? So I'll go to model, and here we have, if you see the status, it is training, and we can rename this also. You can try it on your own. How can we rename it? So currently it is training, and it will take 2 or 3 minutes to train on all the documents. So if you see, your data is being now trained. So I'll click on here on my document, right? And if you see, your accuracy score is really good, right? And here you can see some fields. It shows you what information you are extracting, although it is only showing invoice number, but that we can ignore, right? And here, if I click on more details, you will have all the details and how many documents you have, and all the things, all the fields, tables, checkbox. You do not have any signature. If you have, you do not have any signature, right? So this is done. Okay, now I will just publish it so that it will be visible in my Cloudflow. I will just click publish. Right now you see your model is published, and you can use the model or you can have a quick test. So let's see how can we have a quick test. So let us have a quick test. I'll just click on quick test, I'll click upload, and I will have the data in here. I'll just choose 6 because this one is different from what we have trained. Right, this is currently analyzing, and if you see, it is also giving me the score, right, the 99% confidence score it has, and for subtotal, and for the invoice state, the vendor at the recipient. Okay, so this is how you can you can have a quick test and you see if the information is currently correct or not. If not, you can just click here to learn how can you improve your model, how can you train your model. I'll be making a separate video on some documents where we will learn how can we improve our model, right? So for now, just click close. Let's see what is inside the model. Okay, so this is asking how you can use your model. So I'll click cancel, and I'll just edit just to rename it. Let me see if I can rename it from here. Yeah, so rename option is available here. If you do not know, I'll just go back. Okay, and then I'll just go to my Power Automate. Right, and here now we will be, call our AI builder flow. So in order to have this, I'll just create my flow, instant cloud flow, and I'll call it AI builder. Manually trigger a flow, click create. I'll just choose old designer, which is my favorite. So here you have this option already available, and to call the AI builder, I'll just type AI builder, and we have the information here. Right in here, I think there is extract information from identity documents. Let me search for more options. I think this is the one. Extract information, AI builder. It is asking for the options. So yes, this is the name. You can rename it. Form type, we have the PDF documents only, right? And the form, right? So how can you give the the path or the PDF here is you click on manually trigger flow, you add an output, and then you click on the file, right? So now you can give here the output of this manually trigger a flow. So here you have the file content. I'll just click save, right, and I'll test it. Right, so if you see, it is asking me for a file, and I'll give this file to it, and I'll just click run flow. Done. So this is just a test, that's why I have given it like this. In real use, in real scenarios, we do not give it into the manually trigger flow. It's just to show you how our AI model is working, how it is extracting the data. This is just an example, right? So this, my flow is completed. Let's see the output, right? So if you see, we have a total text value of 2.96, right? And we have taken a document. I think we have taken a document with number 1, if I remember. I'll just open it, and I will just compare the output, right? So subtotal is 147.29. Let me check it. 147.29, this is absolutely correct. And then I'll just check other values. The invoice ID value is 1726, which is already correct. And then we have the invoice ID text, we have the invoice ID. It is also showing you the confidence score. It is showing you vendor address value, and then customer name value, and then invoice total value, right? So this is how it is giving us all the information. This is our custom field. If you remember, we have created a field with invoice number, right? And then we have all the other values available, right? So this is how it is extracted it correctly, right? So I'll click on show raw output, right? And it also have all the informations available here also. So if you go below, and this is, I'll just copy into notepad to show you how we can extract the information from the output also. So so if you see in the output also, Here you have the display name as vendor, and it also have a value. So we can also extract the information from the output. Although AI Builder and Power Automate gives us output separately, it create a variable name which we can call. So let's see how we can get this data into our Excel, right? So I'll just click edit, and I'll choose my favorite old designer. Now since we have multiple files, so I'll just quickly go into my files, and here I have my data, in here. So I have 6 files which I want my AI Builder to read, right? So in order to read all these 6 files, I need to feed this extract information my AI Builder model into a loop, right? So first thing I will do is I will just delete this. I do not need this, so I'll just delete it. Right now I will read the files stored on my local system, so I'll just use my file system, sorry, file system, and I will choose list files in the folder, right? So here I can give you the folder. I'll just click here, right, file system, and I'll just click on this arrow, right? So although there is an error, although I have explained why this error has come and how can we avoid this error in a separate video, I will give you the description link in the description how can we avoid this error. For now I'll just choose the correct one, which is this one, and I'll just click here. Now you see my data is inside my desktop and Power Automate. So here I have my data. I'll just choose in the test folder. So here I have given, when I run it, it will give me the output of these files. It will give me 6 output, right? Now on these files I want to apply a loop, so I'll just choose an action, use apply to each. It is under control section. I'll just choose apply to each, and I will choose the body of my list files and folder, right? I'll choose the body. So my loop will be on the output of list files and folder, which is body, right? You can also choose an expression, for example, like this expression outputs, and then you can give the action name, which in this case is list files and folder. So you can give like this, list files and folder. So this is how you can give, but since it is coming directly, so I have chosen this. Now for each file in the folder, we need to give the file content here. Now if I see there is no file content available, although there is a name, etag media type. I think media type can work, but I recommend you to test on your own. I'll just drag and drop this into here, and I will add a new action which will be into file system to read the content of my file, right? So I'll choose get file content, and here I have the path, right? So now it will give me, I'll just drag it above my AI model, or I'll drag my AI model below this. Now it has read the file content, and I will give the output of this get file content into my form, right? So here you see get file content, and I have given this, right? So what this will do is for each file it will read the data. Now let's just quickly rename these, right? So rename get PDF files, and here just choose for each files read file content, and then get data from AI Builder. So it should be easy enough to understand for other people, right? So I have one thing that we forget is here we are using Gemini, and here we need to give the same connection, right? If you are getting any similar error, I'll give you the link in the description box below how to resolve that error. For now, let's just test it. Click test, save and test, and run flow. Done. So it is showing your flow is running, and currently you see the output, it is running on the 6 files. If you see, there are 6 files, and if you see the output in here, you will see that we have 6 files, 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, right? So let it run. It will take couple of more seconds. So my flow is completed. Now I will see the output for each of the file. Now if you see, for the first file we have the data. See, the customer ID is there and subtotal value is there. If you see, the invoice ID for first is 1726, and if I go to my next loop, it will definitely be different. So you see it is 1783, right? So we have now extracted all our information. Now what we need to do in our final step is to get that data into an Excel or an CSV and save it to our local. You can also save this to your OneDrive. The steps are similar. So I'll just click edit, right? Now let's just quickly initialize our variables. How many values do we need, right? So under here, I'll just quickly add my variables. Initialize variable, I'll name it as invoice number, right, the string, and then I will initialize my customer ID, which is also a string, and then I will. So what I have done is I have initialized 4 5 variables, which is invoice number, customer ID, date, subtotal, tax, and the grand total, right. So this I have initialized, and I will call these variables into my flow one by one, right. So I'll just use my variable, and I'll just use set variable, and for invoice number I will have the output from my AI builder output. So if you see, we have invoice number value, and then we will be adding for each variable. So for here I will choose customer ID, and here from my AI builder output I must have a customer ID value, right, and then I'll use another variable. So this is how I can just use set variable. I'll choose the value I want to set, let's say date, and I will just search the date here, and I want to have my invoice date value, right. So here I have just set the variable. For example, invoice number, I have chosen the invoice number text value, and for customer ID I have chosen the customer ID text value, and for the date I have chosen the customer date value. So I'll just rename them quickly. For subtotal I have chosen subtotal value, right. So I'll rename this also. It's always a best practice to rename these things. So I'll just rename it, and this one also, right. And this name should be unique. It should not be repeated because Power Automate will not take that, and I will name this as total, right. So I'll just click save. Now the final thing which is left is to store this into an Excel format, right. In order to do that, since our Excel is a form of array, right, so I'll just initialize one array variable also, right. So I will name it as CSV data, and this will look like an array. So I'll just save this one. So my flow is now saved. What I have done till now is just initialize all the variables, right. So I'll just have this array CSV. Okay, now what I need to do is I need to append all my values into that array, right. And how my file should look like is, if I go in here into my input, right, and I'll just create a new file, or I'll just open this old output, right, and I'll just add a new sheet in here only. So how does my output would look like is invoice number, and then it should show me the customer ID, right, and it should show me the the date, and then it should show me the text and the total text and the subtotal. Like this my Excel or my final output should look, right. Now I'll just remove this and go here. Now in order to look at like this is, first we have to see how my array would look like, right. So if I go back, I'll click OK, and I will just have look at my this output only, right? So in this I will you'll see how the output or how an array will look like. So in the output, if you click on this output, I'll just copy this one and I will just close the old one and I will just have it in a notepad, right? It is just to make it easier for you to understand how the array will look like, right? So you can ignore these are the common inputs. Now if you come in the body part, here your array looks like this, right? So inside the body, when there is this square bracket starting, that means it's a array, start of an array, right? And this is the first row inside these curly brackets, right? And inside these curly bracket, this is your first row, and then starting from here is your second row, right? And from third, it is your third row. Since we have 6 files, so there are 6 rows in this array. Okay, and your column name is id, and in your output it will look like an invoice number. So why I have shown you this is because this is how we will be creating or we will be composing our array variable, right? So you see the column name is closed between the double quotes, and it has this value in the double quotes. You have the name, that means common name, this name in double quotes, and the value in double quotes, right? So this is a JSON format, right? So this is how your array looks like. Now I'll go back here, right? I'll just close this one and I'll just edit this. Now the action I will use is I have my all the values like invoice number, customer ID, and all the things. Now I will append these values into my variable. So I have an action called append to an array variable, right? I'll choose my variable CSV data, and then I will append my values, right? So like I have shown you in here, my array values are closed in the curly brackets. So I will start my curly bracket and end it. Okay, so inside this my values will be available. Now first column is invoice number, right? Like this. So this is my column name. I'll give a space. You can choose not to give a space. Now single quotes, sorry, this colon, like this. Here you have, now this we have the value. Similarly, I'll give the value here. I do not require to give in the double quotes because I already have this in a string, right? I have given this. Now if you see, there is a comma like this. So I will give a comma and I will give the customer ID as the column name, right? Like this. And I will give customer ID and then again a comma. I'll go with date, and then date. I will give the subtotal, and then subtotal, and then I will give my text. Similarly, I'll give my text, and then we will have a total. You can choose any heading you want, right? So total, and then you have a, sorry, not total text, you have a grand total, right? So this is your array. So what this will do is, once it has all the value, it will keep appending this to an array variable, right? So I'll just quickly save this one. Now what I need is the output of this variable. So in order to get output, I'll just, and I will have to get this output outside of this loop, right? So I'll just have a new step and I will have a compose action. Compose basically gives you the output. So I'll choose CSV data, right? So it has given me output. Basically you can have it directly, but I have just chosen compose action. Now we have an array variable. Now I want to create an Excel file, right? So in order to have an Excel file, I can just choose a CSV data, right? So there is a direct option called create CSV, right? Create CSV table, and inside here I will, so the CSV, this action will take the output array as an output, or array as an input, right? So I'll just click save. Now I will just test this one, test, and now we will see how the output will looks like. Done. So my flow is currently running. It will take up 1 or 2 minutes to complete it. So it is completed. It almost took 2 minutes to complete. And if you see the output, now your output, if you see here, it looks similar. You see invoice number, we have an invoice number here, then customer ID, we have the customer ID. This is same in all, as you know. The date is in this format, right? And then we have a subtotal of 147, then text 2.97, then we have a total. Now I want to write this in an Excel, right? So it's just a simple step to just file system, and create file, right? So remember to choose a correct connection, and in here I'll just choose any of the folder. So inside the, I'll choose desktop. So I have chosen the path. You can choose any path you like. Name of the file, you can give any name. I'll just give AI builder, and this is a CSV file because the output is CSV and the file content will be the output of create CSV table, right? So if you see here, create CSV table has this output. I'll just click save, and from the outside I'll just run it this time. So if you run it from outside, it usually takes a less time, right? So it is currently running. Let's just refresh. So your flow is now completed, and if you go into the logs, right, and all of this, your file is also created. Now if you see and go into your AI builder, this is created, right? So if you see the output, it looks very clear into an Excel. See the invoice number, you have the customer ID, you have the date, you have the total tax and all the things you have here, right? So this is how you can have your output from an AI builder to an Excel, right? So I hope you like this video. If you like this video, just like, comment and share this video. Let me know in the comment section below what I should be creating next. And there is one homework for you, is that instead of CSV, you store that data into the dataverse table, or you can store that data into an XLSX file directly, right? So hope to see you soon in the next video. Bye. Happy automation.